Hello, guys. You are welcome to the Java Academy. And as I promised, on Sundays I will be dropping videos on on the job recruitment application, which will be built as a microservice. So today we'll be building the first service that will be going into that microservice, which would be our notification service. So to build this notification service, so basically navigate to start.spring.io, where we'll be generating or bootstrapping a Spring Boot application. So we are going to be using Maven as our build tool, of course, Java as the language, and then the Spring Boot version will be 3.4.0, and then you can see the project metadata. I've set them up. Okay, packaging is Jar, then version 17, and for this particular service, these are the dependencies that we need to set this service up. So once you are done with this, you basically generate this you generate which will typically go into your downloads folder, and then from there you can extract it. Okay, you extract it and then open it. I've already opened the service already here. Okay, so I have the navigation service here. I have it up here. So to set up our notification service, we need the following configurations in our config application.properties file, which is inside the resources folder. Okay, so I've set up the Spring mail host, which is smtp.gmail.com, then the port, which is 465, then the username, which is going to be your email address, and then your password. So in this case here, your password is not going to be the the password you use in signing in to your Gmail account. No. So Gmail allows you to create passwords for uh for different applications you are building. So what we would now do here is we'll head over to your Gmail account, have it open, and then click on this guy here, which is then from there click on manage your account. Okay. So from here you basically just search for app passwords. So you can see app passwords. So bear in mind that you would only be able to use app passwords if you have set up two-factor authentication on your Gmail account. So if you haven't, then you should do that and then follow the following steps. So once you've clicked on app passwords, okay, so it asks you to verify. I have my password here already. Mm, okay, so after supplying your password, then you can then come in here. So it says to create a new specific password, type a name for it below. So here I will just say job recruitment. Okay, so bear in mind that this password, once it is generated, you can no longer have, you won't be able to see it again. There's no option to view that password. So you generate it, create. So this is the password here now. Once you close this page, you no longer have access to this password. So I will just copy this. Okay, then I would typically just dump it here. Okay, here you don't need the spaces in between, so you can get rid of them. So having done that, you can then click on done. So you see that you have this. Okay, so once you are done with that, let's go back into setting up the necessary configurations for this. So having set up all this, we still need a number of other configuration keys and values. So the next one I'm going to set up will be spring.mail properties dot mail dot smtp dot auth. So this is a boolean, so we set it to true. Then spring dot mail dot properties dot mail dot smtp dot start tls dot enable, also a boolean, we set it to true. Then spring dot mail dot properties dot mail dot smtp dot ssl dot enable, set it to true as well. So with this, I believe we are good to go. So to get started, let us run this project. Let's see that everything is fine before we start building any other thing. Okay, so you can see it started on port 8080 and so on. Okay, so yeah, I think we are good to go. So having done that now, I will now need to set up um, different packages. Controller with no entity, just our DTO here. Don't forget that we are not dealing with any database operation here. So we need DTO, we need service. Yeah, so that's all. So in here, let's say let's create a DTO class. I'll call it email request. Okay. Say as data as all args constructor as a builder. Okay. So with this, we can then proceed to setting up the content of our email request. So to send an email, typically you need a sender. Okay. You need a recipient. Okay. We need a sender, we need a recipient, and then sender recipient, then the message itself to be sent. Okay, so I believe that this is all we need. Then probably the subject, yes, the subject of the email as well. So I think with these four, we are good to go. So let's set them up. Private string, let's call it sender email. Okay, private string, the recipient email. Okay, then private string message, then private string subject. So with this, we have our DTO that will then convey our request into our service layer. So inside the service layer now, so let's call this email sender service. Okay, so let's say at service. Um, yeah. So this guy will make it implement email email service. I think I have missed, yeah, I have missed one dependency here. So I will just yeah, so I'll just find a way to add that dependency. Okay, so I think this was my mistake. It doesn't need to implement anything here except I've set up an interface for it to implement. Okay, so once we've set this up, we could we need to inject Java mail sender. Okay, so we auto-wire this. Then one more thing we need to add here is, so if you look at the way these configurations have been set up, right? So we can see that this email here is the one that will be sending the email, is the one that will be sending all emails. I hope you understand. This guy here is the one that will send all emails. So once that is clear, I think we can now come over here to edit this. We don't need this here. Okay, we can already get this guy from we can basically get the email sender from here. So inside the email service here, I would just specify private string sender email. Then I'm going to get it from that uh, from the application.properties file. So the value is going to be this way. Okay. Then I will just pick the identifier here, which is spring.mail.username. I would copy it and then I'll paste it here. So with that, I already have my sender email. So this guy is going to be, is basically going to be the one that would send this guy is going to be the one that will send all my emails. Okay. Then the next point here is this public. So this guy is, we are just sending an email. We don't necessarily need to return anything. So I'll just make this method void, then send yeah, I'll call it send email. Okay. So this guy is going to take an object of email request, which is the detail. So email request. Okay. So I'll use a try and catch block because typically this could generate some exceptions. So here I will make use of simple mail message. So with simple mail message, we get to send messages without templates, messages without any HTML structure. So you can see that from your email, there are some messages that are quite finely, beautifully styled. So there is a way we can do that. Probably in our next lesson, we'll see how we can set up email templates that will style our our notifications. So here we have simple mail message. We are basically creating an object here. So new this guy. Okay. Um, I'm trying to see if there's a builder method here. Okay, there's no builder method. So I'll just say new. So here we can have mail message dot. Okay, we can set from. So at least the person sending or the address sending the email. So in this case, it will be our sender email. So don't forget that sender email has been gotten from here. Okay. So whatever you set up here is going to be your sender email here. So sender email. Then the next one will be mail message dot set to. So that is the recipient now. So then in this case, it's going to be the request, the object of email request here, which is this detail here. So it will be request dot uh, get recipient email. Then the next thing would be mail message dot set, I think set text. So here it will be request dot get message. Then the next thing would be our subject, mail message dot set subject. So we can call this request dot get subject. Okay, so having done this now, we will then call the send method of this guy to actually send this mail message that we have built, whose object we have built here. So the next will now be Java mail sender dot send. So you can see here that there are different constructors for this. You can send mind message. A mind message is typically that message that has HTML content to it. So, but for now, we are only working on the simple mail message. Okay. So we just pass in this object here, which is the mail message to be sent. Okay. So just to be sure that this guy is working, I could just log some things to the console. Okay, so SLF4J library that comes with Spring Boot, I'll use it to log something here. So if this message is successfully sent, I could just do log dot. So I would say something like is expecting your mail. Okay, so here you just do request dot get recipient email. So what I'm saying here is that this guy is expecting your mail already. So this is a sign that I'm logging this just to show that we've successfully sent our email here in the console. Since we are not returning anything here, it's a void. Okay, then over to the controller where we can finally test this. Call it notification controller. Okay, say at rest controller at request mapping. So you can just call this API slash notification. Okay. So yeah, I could add all labs constructor. So I could use constructor injection here. So private email sender service. So public response. So let's call it send message. It will then take in a request body. Okay. Then we can call this our email request. So we just return response entity dot nullable. Then we send the service dot send email and request. Okay, so let's make this guy void as well. We would come back to this and see how we can return something better. So in here, we'll just do service or no. I'll just do let me do response entity on this guy. So then I'll just add the try and catch block here. So I'll just do service dot send email. Okay. Then we'll just return response entity dot okay. Okay. So we can return this. So to set up our catch block, So yep, so I can rerun this. Then while this is running, let me set up let me set up a collection, and in this collection I will just call it notification service. Okay, so we basically want to test what we've done. So let's call this send email, make it post. So HTTP localhost 8080 slash API slash notification. Okay, let me resend this. Let's go back to our controller. What's wrong here? This shouldn't be a problem at all. Let me comment this out because it's a problem. Hmm. Yeah, okay. So there was some small issue which I quickly tried to resolve. So I think there is a problem with the way my ID is syncing Lombok annotations. So if you look into my request here, I've removed the as data annotation. So I'm now using getter and setter methods. So if you happen to have the same issue, you can actually revert to getter and setter methods, and then you get rid of the as data annotation. Okay, then yep, I've also removed the log statement here. So what I could just do here is I could use a system out here. Okay, email sent successfully. Okay, so let me rerun the application now, and then we then test through Postman. So before running, let me inspect. Okay, so here this wouldn't work. So I need to add a post map in here. Then of course I have to rerun it after this is done. So let me rerun this so that I can then send this request. So in my postman, so I'll just set up this. So the request is basically going to be of this format: recipient email, message, and subject. So let's say recipient email. So let's say I'll still use that same email, hemajibale5 at gmail.com. Message, just testing something, and then subject. Okay, let's say testing email service. Okay, so once this is saved, I can then send the request. So it tells me there is an internal server error, so I can then investigate what is wrong here. So it says email request is null. Hmm, let's see. So basically this dot service is null. Yeah, could that be it? Shouldn't be. This isn't null, so this is another issue. Uh, okay, let me remove this. Let me try at auto wire there. Then let me run this. Let's try this now and see. Okay, so this time it returns it 200. And let's go back into the code. Okay, so of course, another way to verify is to see if I actually received an email. So let me refresh. It doesn't come in here. Let me check my spam. I don't have an email yet. Okay, I've checked it on my phone and it's in here. So I guess it would. I just need to refresh once more here. Okay, so finally the message comes in here. Just testing something. We could do something else again. I could do this. Really enjoying this and send it. Okay, also another 200. So another one comes in. So basically, I think we have our email service up and running. So too, in order not to make this too long, I think I will stop here for now. And then in our next class, we'll be looking at how we can make this email service uh, to send email a well def- defined email messages. So if we look back here, okay, if you look back here, most of these guys here you can see that these guys are well styled. So how can we also achieve something like this in our email service? So that will be our very next class, the next recording. That's going to be uploaded again by next Sunday. We'll see you guys in the next recording and bye for now.